Day, and you've been especially blessed with that little gift this morning on Mother's Day, but we want to continue to bless our moms today with some very special gifts. First of all, we want to recognize all of the moms that are here. If you're capable and willing, if you're a mom and you know that you're blessed, and if you're a mom, you are willing, would you stand? We want to recognize all of you this morning, all of the moms in the room. If you would stand, and let's give you a particular gift this morning, so when you receive from one of these beautiful children, when you receive your gift from them, would you just go ahead and be seated so that we can make sure everybody gets a gift this morning?
After you receive it.
That's pretty good flower delivery. You didn't have to pay for it this morning. And it comes with a precious smile as well. All right, boys and girls, go to the right. Go this way.
More over there in that row, Terry. She sat down. She's sitting. Look.
Joshua.
Has everybody gotten a flower that looking for a gift this morning from a cute little face? Almost all of them were happy about it. There are a couple of exceptions. All right, we have some other gifts to give away, and we're going to give these away to some special ladies that are here this morning. The first one that we want to recognize, and I realize this is always a dangerous thing to ask for the oldest. Is he going to help me? He is a good man. You're a good man. So, asking ladies to admit their age is a dangerous kind of thing. But I have discovered that at least when you hit the age of 70, you start bragging about it a little bit. So if you're a lady here and you're capable, if you're 70 or above, would you please stand? If you're 70 or above, would you please stand? Remain standing. 80 and above, remain standing. All right. 85 and above, remain standing. 90 and above, remain standing. Yeah. 90 and above. 91. 92. Is that everybody? And how old are you? 96. What a wonderful blessing. You reverse those numbers, and I hope I get that far. I don't know about you. 69. All right, the second mother that we want to recognize this morning is the newest mom. Okay? Now again, this is where it gets dangerous. If you are a mom and you have a, well, let's do it this way. How about this? If you've got a child that is less than 12 months old, would you please stand? Has anybody here got a? All right, right, is anybody, no babies. We're going to have to, never mind, I'm not going to say that. You might come to my house, I don't need that.
Please stop that sentence.
Not at this stage. All right, if you have a 1-year-old, would you please stand? All right, we got 2, okay? Do we know between the 2 of you which one's the youngest?
April 28th.
I don't do math in my head. So how old is she? But year and 6 months.
She just turned a year old last month.
All right, this one is going to require a little bit of math. So you're going to have to do it. We want to recognize and honor the mother with the most children present. All right, if you're a mom here and you've got 2 children present, would you please stand? Does anybody have 2 kids present, okay? All right, if you've got 3 kids present, does anybody here that has 3 of their children with us? Got 2, 3? Is anybody here that has 4 children present? Right, there you go. All right, now this one is really going to require your mathematical skills because it doesn't, not just kids that are present, okay? The one who has the most children and grandchildren, period. Okay, so that means in your head you've got to start doing mathematics. The most children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren if you have them.
Or
Start
great.
calculating. All right, does anybody here have 10 children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren? If you have 10 or more, would you please stand? 10 or more children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. We're going to go one at a time. If I call your number, you sit at 11. You've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
She's still counting.
17, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, 18, 19, oh my goodness, 20, 21, some of you are still counting, aren't you? I'll try to come up with something not so complicated next time. 22, well, you guys just want to tell us how many? 33, 22,
27 and a 17.
you got 34?
Yes.
And how many? Well, I think they both deserve something, don't you? All right, this one is not going to be quite as complicated. We do want to recognize one very special lady in the group, and it's not pre-selected by anything other than give me a number between 0 and 31. 24. Give me a number between 1 and 12. All right? Somebody who was born, if you were born in the month of June, ladies, would you please stand? If you were born in the month of June, was anybody born on the 24th of June? 25th? Anybody born on the 23rd? All right, there's our special number, right? We had one extra, and I was sure hoping that we would be a tie this morning, so I'd have you borrow a tie. God is good, amen? He's blessed us with a very special gift in our lives. God bless all of you.
We have one more special mother that we'd like to recognize, and I'm going to read this This is Psalms here, or Proverbs 31. She speaks with wisdom and faithfulness instructions are on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, and her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful, beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised.
Amen.
God has blessed her church with a wonderful, wonderful pastor and a wife that is godly. We're going to present her. This hand has got beautiful flowers. And this morning, she's actually in the nursery, I believe. She's working, so somebody else could be in here. But would you just give her a round of applause? And we'll give her those flowers. Thank you. Orlando. You got to go all the way to Orlando to her church, Hannah. Hannah, you got to go all the way to Orlando. She's got a car key. She'll go right now. We're so thankful to have this man of God that he sent and his beautiful wife. So next time you see her, praise her, okay? Let's all stand and sing our offertory, Above All Power. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all ways of man, you were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure all your worth. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone like a rose, trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me. Above all, above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man, you were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure all your worth. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone like a rose, trampled on the ground. You took the fall
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we do thank you for thinking of us, Father, even though you had to go through the misery for us, but you were there for us, you just love us. We thank you for that, Father. Father, as we come to this time to take up the money, that we ask that you would just let us do it with a blessed heart. Give back just a portion of what you've given us, Father. Bless it, let it do further your kingdom. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
When my mom died very suddenly 3.5 years ago, this song began to mean a lot to me because if Mama could have told me that day, she would have said, don't cry for me, just celebrate me.
Amen.
When the time comes and I'm standing at the river that separates the two worlds that I love, torn between my precious friends and family, at the place of peace that's waiting up above. Hold my hand and stay
take the Bible this morning on this Mother's Day and join me in the book of Exodus, believe it or not. Go to the book of Exodus. Now, I don't always, on special days like Mother's Day, sometimes I don't preach a specific sermon for like Mother's Day or Father's Day, but I'm going to do that this morning. So if you would, we're going to look at one of the moms of the Old Testament and use that mom as our example of motherhood this morning. So Exodus chapter 2. And we're going to look at Jochebed, we're going to look at Moses' great mother, and observe some things about her life this morning that I think would do us well on Mother's Day. Let me just say, as you're turning there, a couple of things to the church that I'm privileged to be the pastor of. First of all, I want to thank you for your patience in the moving process. Most of you perhaps know that on Friday the movers came and boy, they quickly grabbed up our stuff, and we're mostly here. So I appreciate your patience in making that happen. There are still a few things that we have to go back for, and we kind of left a mess in the church parsonage there, so we want to go and clean that up and not leave such a mess. So we appreciate your patience. Most of all, we appreciate your prayers through all this process, and God is certainly providing through your prayers. And also, I want to thank you for your persistence. Many of you have called and said, can we help, can we help, can we help? If we knew what to tell you to do, we would certainly call on you for help. We're just figuring it out as we go ourselves. I hope by some glorious miracle, everything that's in the boxes in the house now will just jump out and be in its right place on the shelves and all that. I believe in miracles, but something about that one, I think the Lord wants us to persist through that and finish it out. And again, I'm grateful for everything that you've done. Just to let you know how good God is. The church, as you probably well know, has graciously said, we'll take care of you to get you and all of your stuff here. When I began to look for moving companies to move our stuff, and we don't have a whole lot of stuff. It's not like we've got some gargantuan house and all kinds of furniture and all that. We just really don't have a whole lot of stuff. At least I didn't think we had a whole lot of stuff until I saw it in the box. And hiding up under the bed and everything else. But the cost was just getting enormous, and I'm just thinking, I'm in the wrong business. I need to open a moving business and make some money. Finally found, just long story made short, finally found a company that would move it with a reasonable price. Judy and I kayak. We enjoy our kayaks, and they're sitting outside waiting to be picked up. And I casually mentioned that to the lady on the phone. And she said, oh, there will be a bulk charge for that if they take them. And I said, no, we'll just come back and get them in the pickup truck and so on. And there were a lot of other items that would probably have been considered outdoor bulk kind of items that would add to the cost of moving. And so the movers get there, and they get there late on Friday, and it's already 1 o'clock in the afternoon when they get there. It's 6 o'clock Friday afternoon before they leave. And the way that this moving company actually works, and I'm getting somewhere with this, I promise, the way this moving company works is that they may have 2 or 3 people's stuff on this 53-foot tractor trailer. And I'm thinking, I don't have that much stuff, but the way they do it, they move several people at once, cost effective for them, offered me a good price on it. And so I'm thinking, you know what, they're only reserved for me a little bit of space. What if all my stuff doesn't fit? Then it's going to be doing it all over again. And so the guy shows up at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon, backs the truck up, he opens the door, and lo and behold, there's just a little bit of stuff on this 53-foot trailer. He says, yeah, this is just the leftovers, the overrun from another house. It's their outdoor stuff, and almost half of the truck is sitting there. Now, they still do this on the basis of weight, how they charge you. And so they start putting their stuff in the truck, and I'm thinking, okay, they're getting a lot of stuff. And I walk out, and lo and behold, I look, and the kayaks are in there. And he's got them pinned up to the other stuff, and they're already in there, and there's no extra charge. They just bring it. And they keep taking our stuff, and so I said, well, can you take this too? Can you take this too? And they get all of that stuff, and so just how God works things out. We're last on the truck, which means we're first off. We were thinking that it was going to be a week or so before. As far as I knew, they were going to go to California with somebody's stuff before they brought us ours. And so it's in the house, it's a mess, but we are home, and we praise the Lord for that. And He is incredibly good. I just want to testify of the goodness of God. He is just extraordinarily good, and He has just been blessing and making all this happen to his glory. All right, Exodus chapter 2. So much about that for us this morning, Exodus chapter 2. And we're going to read a familiar story for you this morning. It is about a man by the name of Moses. And Moses tells us in these books, by the way, this is Moses writing, and Moses writing about himself and his mother. So let's go to chapter 2, Exodus chapter 2, beginning with the first verse. He says, "Now a man from the house of Levi went and married a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bore a son, and she saw that he was beautiful. She hid him for 3 months, but when she could hide him no longer, she got him a wicker basket and covered it with tar and pitch. Then she put the child into it and set it among the reeds by the bank of the Nile. And his sister stood at a distance to find out what would happen to him. The daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe in the Nile with her maidens walking alongside the Nile. And she saw the basket among the reeds, and she sent her maid, and she brought it to her. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the boy was crying. And she had pity on him and said, 'This is one of the Hebrew children.' Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, 'Shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you?' And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, 'Go ahead.' So the girl went and called the child's mother. Then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, 'Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I shall give you your wages.' So the woman took the child and nursed him. And the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she, Pharaoh's daughter, named him Moses and said, 'Because I drew him out of the water.'" Again, this is a very special day. It is a day that we celebrate our mothers and the contribution that they have made to our lives. It is a special day. And some of you are sitting there today, this morning, right now, and you're going, "I hope the preacher hurries up because I've got to get here, I've got to go there." It is a very special day for us, Mother's Day, but it is also a very busy day. As soon as I get done here today, I'm going to get to do something that I haven't done in a lot of years. I'm going to go where Judy is this morning with her mom and get to be with my mom. My mom just passed away almost 20 years ago now, so Judy's mom is my mom. And I'm going to get to see her on Mother's Day for the first time in a long, long time, so I'm pretty excited about that, to the glory of God. and so this is a very busy day, and it's quite possible that on a busy day like this that we will forget to say, "I love you, Mom, and you're very special in my life," getting all that stuff done. So today is a very special day. It is a very busy day. It is a day of thinking about our moms, and so guys, especially you guys, you've got moms out there and they're expecting a phone call. You need to make that phone call. And I would say, even though we have this wonderful modern technology day that you can send your mom a text, don't send mom a text and say Happy Mother's Day. Give her a call and say, "I love you." Send her a card, take some flowers, go by Publix or somewhere and get you some flowers and go see your mom. It is her day, it is a special day, and you need to celebrate her today. You need to get those things done because it is a very wonderful day. I remember, and perhaps you've heard the story, and I'll tell it now, and over the next 30 years you won't have to hear it again. But you heard about the very rich guy that wanted to send his mother something very special for Mother's Day. And he was very rich, and he was a businessman that traveled all over the country, and he was somewhere in a tropical country, and he came across a man selling a bird. And this bird could speak multiple languages. It was a very incredible bird. It could speak Portuguese, it could speak Spanish, it could speak multiple languages. Just an incredible bird. And the man said, "That's exactly what I want to get for my mom." And he says, "How much is the bird?" He says, "Well, it's $30,000. He says, "Hey, my mama, she's worth it." So he forks over the $30,000, sends the bird to his mom. Several months later, he calls his mom. He says, "Mom, how did you like the bird?" And she says, "Oh, son, it was delicious." Make sure you take care of your moms today and give them something very, very special. Our moms are very special. Abraham Lincoln once said, "No man is poor who has a godly mother." Abraham Lincoln also said, he says, "All that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother." Adrian Rogers was once talking to George Herbert Walker Bush and talking about his faith, and he finally said to Adrian Rogers, he says, "I want to tell you, my mother was the most godly person I have ever met. I stand in those shoes myself. My mother was the most godly person that I have met in my entire life. She was such a wonderful person to me. She was the most godly person that I've ever known. She represented for me, as a boy growing up, all that the Lord really and truly is. Now, I have a godly father, and he is a great man of God. But I saw Jesus in my mother. As I look around this room, I have no doubt there are mothers who have had an incredible impact on their children. And in fact, I would say this regardless of the circumstances, ladies, you have an incredible impact on your children. And so we're here on this particular day. And guys, don't begin to tune in and say, okay, he's talking about mamas. I'm going to throw you in a little bit along the way. But moms have such an incredible influence on our lives. And ladies, you have such an important role in the rearing of your children. An important, glorious place. And again, I think about even in the Bible. There's a guy by the name of Timothy. You remember Timothy in the New Testament? And what does the Bible tell us about Timothy? What did Paul even recognize about Timothy? He said, Timothy, make sure you listen to your mother and your grandmother, because they have such an impact on your life. So ladies, just understand that God has put you in a place of great influence over your family, over your children. I think again about my mama and how precious she was to me. My mama, again, was this great example to me. I can remember her representing Jesus in my home so much. I think about the things that she taught us. She taught me. I think about the whippings that she gave me. I think I figured from my back of my legs still sting from where she would give me a whipping. But all of the time, my mother represented for me who Jesus is and what was important in my life. And so you have this great influence. You have this great opportunity. It's like you have an empty slate that you can write on when a child comes into your home. And then there's Jochebed, the mother of Moses. If I had the opportunity, I could write you a book about my mom and about the influence that she had in my life. Well, Moses was given an incredible opportunity by God to say a little bit that went in the Bible about his mother, and he does that. He does that in his verse. And he talks about her situation and how she responded to that situation. I think you would agree with me this morning that as a mama in this world today, you've kind of got a situation that you have to deal with in rearing your kids. The number of outside influences, they're not just outside. They've managed to come inside through their electronic devices and all that's in your home. So you have a double duty in protecting and looking over your children. But here's Moses, and he gets to talk about Jochebed. He gets to talk about his mother, and it's written down for eternity in God's Word. Oh, that you ladies, in fact, all of us, that we would live in such a way that God would be willing to record it forever in His Word. And so here's Jochebed. Let's see this morning what Moses has to say about his mother. The first thing that he talks about is her quandary. He says, my mama faced a quandary. Now, you've got to turn back into chapter 1. In fact, you've got to go back into Israel's history a little bit to know the situation. If you remember the story of Israel, you remember way back then when Joseph was taken into slavery or taken to Egypt that his brothers wanted to get rid of him. You remember that story? Sunday school is where you learn from that story. But anyway, he was taken away, and then there was famine and all of that, and Joseph rose to prominence in Egypt. And Joseph was this great man, and the time came when the famine came, and all of Joseph's brothers came down along with his father, and they all settled in Egypt. And then the next thing you know, man, those Hebrew people, they just began to multiply. And the scripture tells us in Exodus that they got to Egypt and the people of Israel were fruitful. Verse 7 of chapter 1, and they were great and they multiplied greatly, so much so that they began to spread out. And there were just so many of them that Pharaoh came along, and verse 8 tells us the real story. That a Pharaoh came along who did not know Joseph. He didn't know how Joseph had helped make Egypt great. He didn't know that Joseph had risen to a place of prominence in the land of Egypt. All that this Pharaoh saw was this mass of people who were not Egyptian. And he says, I've got to do something about it. That they're going to take over everything. They're going to overpopulate the land, and they're going to come and they're going to destroy us. And so verse 15 says this, then the king, that is the Pharaoh, spoke to the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was named Shiphrah, and the other named Puah. And he said, when you are helping the Hebrew women to give birth and see them upon the birth stool, if it's a son, then you shall put him to death. But if it is a daughter, then you shall let her live. But the midwives feared God and did not do as the king, as the Pharaoh had commanded them, but let the boys live. So the king of Egypt called the midwives, and he said to them, why have you done this thing, and let the boys live? And the midwives said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are vigorous, and they give birth before the midwife can get to them. And so God was good to the midwives, and the people multiplied and became very mighty. And it came about because the midwives feared God that he established, that is, Pharaoh established household, or that God established household for them. And then Pharaoh commanded all his people, now listen to what he said. He says, every son who is born, you are to cast into the Nile, and every daughter you are to keep alive. So imagine Jochebed's problem. Here is a mother, and she's already got 2 kids, and now she's pregnant with a third, and she's having what we could call a serious quandary. She is about to bring a child into the world, and the world wants that child's life. Not only that, she's about to bring a child into the world amongst the people who do not care about her child. Now let me just say this. The Bible says that the Pharaoh did not know Joseph and did not have any compassion or caring for the Hebrew people or their children. As far as he was concerned, as far as Pharaoh was concerned, those boys that are born, they just need to be thrown out. They are worthless. In other words, he had zero value for human life. Now, may I say to you that we live in a society that really doesn't care about human life? Whatever they may say, we live in a world that sees human beings as disposable commodities. We hear all kinds of things. Of course, we understand that abortion exists, and it is just incredible. You say, well, Pharaoh, I mean, they were looking at children and throwing them away. Well, what was the difference as to what happens in our world today just because the child has not been born? But then beyond that, what value does this child have? Listen, he's not Egyptian. He's not of the world, and Egypt represents the world in the story. And so we face a world that does not care. And ladies, you face a world that does not care about your children. They are nothing more than a commodity to be used and abused for their well-being. And so Pharaoh says, when the child's born, if it's a boy, take it and throw it into the Nile. Now, ladies, I can't imagine that responsibility that you face. And by the way, whether your children are 5 or 50, you still have that responsibility. It hasn't left you. Just because your children are adults doesn't mean you've stopped being a mom and having an influence in their life. But imagine what Jochebed faced at this particular point in time. She is about to bring her child into the world, a responsibility to bring her child into a world that doesn't care about that child whatsoever. That responsibility greatly falls on her. What a job you ladies have to bring up children in this world. You see, Moses tells us a little bit about her anxiety. She's not only with child, but she's already got 2. Of course, Aaron is about 3 years old. Miriam is a teenager, probably about 15. So she's already got a house with 2 kids in it. And now we're about to add the 3rd one. Some of you ladies know what that's like. I've admired my mother through the years. My older brother is 5 years older than me. My younger brother is 8 years younger than me. And at one particular time, my mama had a child in college, high school, and grade school, all at the same time. One time she had diapers, elementary school, and high school. I just can't imagine my mother juggling all of those kinds of things and having the influence on her. And so you've got this incredible responsibility, ladies, about rearing children in this world. It is an absolute strain. But imagine Jochebed. Imagine Jochebed. Some of you ladies, you remember what it was like when you were pregnant, you were about to have a baby. It was really a time of joy, but you were excited about it. You were looking forward to paying childbirth, but you were looking forward to seeing that precious baby of yours. But imagine Jochebed at this particular point. Can you put yourself in her shoes? If she has a girl, she lives. If she has a boy, he dies. Imagine that. Now, I don't know what you would be doing. But if I was living in a world and I understood that as soon as my child was about to be born, and the world was seeking its life, I don't know about you ladies, but I'd be praying, Lord, please, to this point, Lord, I'll take whatever you bring my way, but please bring me a daughter. Lord, do something. Kill Pharaoh. Imagine bringing your child into the world and that world seeking your child's life. And wanting to throw your child, for all practical purposes, into a crocodile-infested Nile. May I submit to you that that is exactly the world that we live in. Amen. Right now. Just because it's not a literal infested Nile doesn't mean that we don't live in a place that really wants to consume our children. And you think about the things that come on your television, the things that come across the airways, all of that kind of stuff, and it's all designed to take your children away from you. So much of that stuff has in mind to captivate and take your child's heart and mind and soul. And I'm guessing that some of you are here in this room and you said, yes, that's been my experience. This world has been after my child since childbirth. There is an infested Nile that we bring our children to. So what does Jochebed do? After 9 months of anxiety, carrying this child, not knowing if it's a boy or a girl, and that glorious day that's supposed to be a happy day comes, she has the child. Can you imagine that room at that point? Jochebed says, is it a boy or girl? And the midwife says, it's a boy. And immediately, the world's after. The world's after that baby. Ladies, let me just be the first to remind you that, and I can't say it, that this world wants your children. And if it gets its way, it will take your children from you. Maybe not physically. They may live in your house forever, but if the world gets their mind and their heart, then the world is happy. And so she's about to bring up her child, and so the baby comes, and his life is immediately called by a hostile nation. But then Moses continues on to talk about his mama. He not only says, I want you to see my mama's problem, her quandary. He says, I want you to know my mama's tenacity. She's a strong lady, is Jochebed. So Jochebed gets the baby, and she obviously does what any of us would have tried to do. She hides him for 3 months. She keeps quiet about it. She tries not to live. But I don't know if most of you probably have a 3-month-old in your house. It's an amazing thing about babies. They come out and they go, feed me. If you don't feed me, I'm going to scream about it. It'd be really, really hard to hide a 3-month-old child in your house. And sooner or later, that's going to come to an end. And you know the funny thing about it, now keep in mind, who's writing this? Moses. And what does Moses say about the baby? He says that he was beautiful. Now, isn't that amazing? Here's Moses, and he's writing about himself, and he says, oh, by the way, I was a beautiful baby. Now, before we doubt Moses' humility, do you know that there was a writer by the name of Josephus who wrote about that particular? He said that husbands, men left their jobs to come see the baby because he was so beautiful. And so here's this beauty. And by the way, all children are beautiful. All babies that are born are beautiful, aren't they? I've seen some that look like prunes when they came, but they were beautiful children. And the reason that children are always beautiful is because God doesn't make junk. And every child that is born on the face of this earth is special because God is the maker of human life. God is the one who breathes life into us as humans, and it is God who creates us, and babies are always lovely, and there's no accidents.
Amen.
Hear me, friends. There is no such thing as a child being born and that being an accident. God attends every conception. God attends every birth. Some of you might even say in this room, well, you know, I was born under suspicious circumstances. May I say to you, that's what the world tells you. That God is the one that created you. You're not an accident. And you are special.
Amen.
But I want you to see Jochebed's determination. She makes this determination. She says, I will not allow my child to be destroyed in an infested Nile. See, ladies, you've got to make that very same determination. You've got to say in your mind and in your heart, this is my child that God has given me, and I'm not going to let this world destroy my child. Some of you are thinking about children that are grown, and you need to again say, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to encourage my child so that this world will not consume them by an infested Nile. And it is an infested, difficult world that we live in. But Jochebed says, I'm not going to allow it to happen. Being a mom is not something that I have any experience with. But here's what I do. It's not an easy job. It's not. Rearing children in our world today is a very difficult, it's a hard job that requires determination and hard work. You know, I think one of the things and I believe this with all my heart, that one of the things that's missing today in parenting is this idea that they're just going to grow up and they're going to be okay. And I give them the minimal attention. I just do what's necessary, and they'll be all right. Have you ever had somebody say this to you, especially when it concerns who they are in God, what they know about God? Well, I don't want to be an influence on my kid. I want them to grow up. I want them to make their own decisions. I don't want to coerce them. I don't want to push them into Christianity. I don't want to make them believe. I want them to make that own judgment for themselves. How many of you have ever planted a garden? You ever planted a garden? If you've ever planted a garden, did you just throw out seeds and say, well, it'll just be what it'll be? Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? What do? You prepare the soil. You add the fertilizer. You take care to cut the rows. You plant the seeds. You tend it. You pull the weeds. And you get a garden. But if you just let it go, it's just going to turn into weeds. It's not going to turn into a garden. What makes you think that you can just let your children grow and they're just going to grow up to be a beautiful plant? It's a ridiculous idea to say, well, I don't want to indoctrinate my children. I don't want to attend to them too much. I want them to make their own decisions. You wouldn't let a garden just grow. Are your children more important than a garden?
Amen.
By the way, that's for moms and dads. Guys, the idea that mom tends the garden and you just receive the fruit is a bad idea. They need you. And you see, Jochebed says, I understand it's not easy, and I'm going to make my determination that I am not going to let my child go into the Nile unprepared. Because the truth of the matter is, regardless of what she does, Moses is headed to the infested Nile. And folks, no matter what you do with your children, they're still going to have to go out and work. You can't keep them in the walls of your house. And in fact, like I said before, the outside is coming to the inside. You need to say, this is not an easy job. My daddy said this to me one time. He says, son, there's no reason to have children unless you're willing to do the very best you can for them. So those of you that have little ones in your house right now, you need to make the same kind of determination that Jochebed made about her child. I'm not going to send him into the Nile without protection. And so what does she do? The Bible tells us that she comes and after 3 months, it's not going to be silent in that house, so she builds a basket, or I think she buys a basket, and she covers it with tar, she covers it with pitch, and she sets it into the river. Do you know what the Hebrew word for that